All right, we are live today. Welcome to the Blogging Bunch, our weekly hangout. Today we've had a little bit of an issue. We tried to adjust we were having some troubles with Google Hangouts. It kept flashing in between screens, and it was just really annoying, and didn't want to give anybody any seizures or anything from the flashing. So we switched to any meeting, and we were able to get to see both Elizabeth and I, but there was this really nasty echo, and which is why I have on headphones to see if that would help the echo. And that's what the support guy told me to do, and it didn't seem to work at all. So hopefully we will have some time to figure out the kinks with any meeting and get this to work. But for today, I'm just going to go ahead. Elizabeth is here, and you can type in questions in the sidebar. And nope, it's the other way. I got to point the other side. You can type in questions, and we can hopefully Elizabeth can help me answer them if she can see them. I don't know if she can see them or not. So I am going to do a desktop. Today we're going to, and I'm Sarah. I blog at Play to Learn with Sarah, a parenting blog. Also blog at thebloggingBunch.com, where we have lots of tutorials and tips for you for blogging. And today I'm going to show you how to add an image to your sidebar and make it a clickable image that links to another site. So if you want to add an image like I've got an image to my Etsy shop. So I took a picture, I put it up there, I made a small image, and I wanted people to be able to click on that in my sidebar and go to my Etsy shop. So I made a little image for that. If you have any other kinds of, you want to put buttons on your sidebar for your categories or things like that. That's what we're going to talk about today, and hopefully I can share my desktop. No, it just looks like I'm stuck. I got stuck. Desktop. Screen sharing. There we go. All right. Here is our dashboard for the Blogging Bunch. And the Blogging Bunch. So yesterday I made this DIY blog design course button and put it there in the sidebar. I've made all these little buttons and just put them there in the sidebar. You can also put them into your posts or build it into anywhere you want to have a clickable image in your in an email or anything like that. So the first thing that we need to do, and keep checking this, attendees now see everything on your entire screen. Okay. The first thing we want to do is that we want to go and we want to add media. We need to have a picture, media. So we need to add something, add media, because we need the URL of the picture. So I want to go here. I'm going to select a file, and I've chosen just a little picture, something. I'm going to add that file. And I usually work in multiple screens. So edit here. And if you see right up here, it says file URL, and it gives you the URL for the picture. So that is the URL I want. But the very first, then the next thing I need to do is I'm going to go back. I want to keep this tab open so that I can come back and get this URL. And I want to go to Appearance and Widgets. And this is where I can control my sidebar. Just keep making sure. And my sidebar here, primary sidebar, we're using we went back to the lifestyle theme on this site yesterday. And so what I usually do, see how there's all these boxes and just says text, and I'd have to go in and see which one it was that I want. I usually go through and count. Here's my navigation bar. So my first box is the search box. You can see that says search. And then my next one is my Google Ads. Next one is my blog design. Next one is sign up for Google Plus training. And this one, so let's put it in between my Google Plus training and my Ready to Start Your Blog here. That's where we're going to try and put it. So did I count? Search 1, 2, 3. So 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to open number 4 so that I know where it's supposed to go. And I go and I find an empty text box over here on the available widget side. And I go and I pull this text box and I scroll up so that it puts it right above this open one. And then I can close this open one here. And I can use, and I'll give you this code also, but let's use this blank one here. Copy. I've got the code for you to insert. And when I give it to you, see it says center. It's centered here, so that tells me what I want it to be. And then A space href, then equals, and then you insert the link that you want it to link to right there. What's the URL that you want when people click it that it goes to? And that one right now I want to put for my productivity site. I'm going to do http://developurinfluence.com. And see, it's got the quotation marks around it, so we just put it right inside there. And then this target equals quotation mark underscore blank, quotation mark. That tells it to open it in a new window. So when somebody clicks on it, it's going to open it in a new tab. And this rel equals no follow. I use that a lot of times, especially if I'm doing it to a or someplace I don't want Google to, an Amazon link, something I don't want Google to really follow that link. So rel equals no follow. Then image source, that's the insert image link here. So then we're going to go back to this edit media. We're going to click on the file URL. I'm going to hit Control A, which selects everything, and then Control C, it copies everything. Go back to my widget and do insert link here, highlight over insert link here, and then Control V and put the link, the URL of the image there. You can see that I've got it set. The width is 255, and I think I'm gonna let's see, the width of this picture, the width is larger, so we're gonna go with 300. Usually a sidebar is 300 in width. And then I'm going to change the height. This is a wider than tall image. So then I'm going to change it to 200. And then this closes, tells it to close, and tells it to close center. Save it. And if I mess up, I just go and check it and I come back and fix it. Go to our blog that we have open here, and I'm going to reload it. And put it where I wanted it to be. And look, there it is. And when I click on it, see the hand comes up when I hover over it, so I know that it's a clickable link, and it opens to my Develop Your Influence page. Woohoo! It worked. Never worked on the first time, but it did work on the first time there. Yay! So let's see. Okay, so there I've added that widget. You can also see that sometimes when I do it, this next one down, what's next one down? This next one down, I've made my widget a little bit more difficult here, and I've added a table. And a table is going to help you kind of center it all. It's a little more difficult, but I will add this in the notes, and I'll add this code, and you would just, again, look for the ahref and insert the link to where you want people to go to, and then the link of the of your image goes right there. And it has a little more. Sometimes I have trouble getting the spacing just right. Like this one, I think I've had trouble getting the spacing right because it was just a little button. And so I had to put a little bit more code in to tell it that I wanted it exactly in the middle here. See, these are smaller. And if I changed this, let's see if I changed it to 200, if that's going to make it bigger. Save. And again, as long as you open a Word document and copy all of that, whatever you're working, you don't have to be afraid to mess around with it. You're not gonna break this part. And maybe it made it a little bit bigger. This one is small too, the one below it. So let's see here. This one is 150 by 150. Let's see if we can change it 200. Again, I remember I said that your sidebar is about 300 wide, or at least this one, the sidebar is 300 wide. So, and then sometimes at the bottom, this height and width, remember in the last one, our last code, it was at the end. So just make sure if you have it at the top, you might also have it at the bottom, or wherever it is. But make sure that you're changing it in both places if you have it in both places. If you get the code from somebody else, or you're looking at your site that already has code there, see, it made it a little bit bigger. And since it's I made both of them 200, so now they align. But making them 300, then that would make it it would be big, because this one is 300 across and only 200 tall, is what we did for that one. So it made it a little bit higher. Okay, how are we doing here? Anybody? It's kind of weird not having anybody to talk to or any feedback coming in. One other thing, I had somebody asking, and I know I put us back on our old theme yesterday on the blogging bunch, and it looks a little too much to me right now, so I'll probably still continue to mess with this theme. I don't like, it's just too much for me. It's overwhelming my eyes when I look at it. But when I changed this, used to say podcast. I attempted to do some podcasts, but then we went with Hangouts instead. But when I typed in podcast is shorter than TBB Hangouts, and so when I typed this into the menu bar, then that set the menu bar, and it put TBB Hangouts underneath, and the menu bar wasn't one line anymore. So I wanted to show you how I fixed that. Because that was somebody, I was talking with somebody yesterday, and that was something that they were having trouble with. First, how did I add? I went in, how did I add the word? Menus, right? I had podcasts. If I want podcasts back in there, I just go, what are my pages that I have on my site? I click add to menu. Podcast is now listed there, and see how if I move it over just a little bit to the side, these are all drop down menus. Underneath what's next, we have all of these. What's next, you can see we have all of those, and by just scooting them over just a smidge, that makes them a drop down menu. But if they're all aligned here to the left, then that makes them titles on your navigation bar. So this podcast, I added podcasts. I want to save the menu. And you're going to see it's going to bump everything down. See how it went down to a second row because I don't have space here. The spacing, I need to change this spacing in between each of these words in order to get this word up on the next line. So how do I change that spacing in between my words in order to get it off to the next line? And I want to go to editor, which I pretty much tell everybody, do not touch editor. Please don't touch editor, because you can really mess up your site. If you are going to make any adjustments, I would suggest going up here and clicking Control A, which is select all, Control C, and opening up a Word document and putting it into your Word document, pasting it into your Word document before you make any changes at all in case you mess something up. And then you can always save that and have the backup of your site. You just shove it back in there and you're good to go. But look at all this code. Oh my gosh, how are we going to figure out where this nav bar code is? And there's a little trick to this. You hit Control F and this search box comes up. And you can see I did this yesterday, and the word navigation comes up, and I'm looking for, this has a primary navigation bar and a secondary navigation bar. So I'm looking for secondary navigation, and you can see navigation comes up 21 times here, and oops, can't point at it because you can't see if I'm pointing at it, but I want the secondary navigation. So here we are at primary navigation, and I want secondary navigation, so there we are. And we're going to go to all these words, but we're looking for padding right here, subnav LIA. This one right here has padding. And under secondary navigation, it's the very first one that you see that says padding. And these numbers here, there's this first number, there's either 2 or 4 numbers that you're typically going to see, and they work like a clock. So this very first number is always the top. This is always to the right. This is always the bottom, and this is always the left. So if you want to change, we want to look here, and there's no place, we don't want to make it further away from our header or further away from our words there. Stop it. We want to limit this size in between here. That is, home has this big space in between it here. And so the bigger space, we've got top and bottom only have 3 pixels, whereas left and right have 25 and 30. So if we adjust this to maybe 15 and 15, let's see how it looks. And then we update the file. And look at that. It's all on one line. And maybe I even did a little too much. See how there's a lot of space there? So I can go back and adjust the padding. Where's the padding? Which side do you think? Right. We'll just pick one. Let's do 20. Or maybe we can even do 20 and 20. Make them the same on both sides. Okay. So let's save this, update this file, and reload. There we go. See, it's all the way across, nicely separated. You can see each word individually, and it's awesome. Although now I have to go back and fix this because we only have like one podcast. Anyway. That was a simple lesson in how to adjust your navigation bar and how to add things to your sidebar. And if you want to learn more, check out my DIY blog design course, which starts next week also, because we'll be talking more and more about how to make those little simple changes that you can do yourself. Let's see here. Stop screen sharing. Hi. Hopefully I'm back, and I don't see any questions. Nobody typed anything. Are y'all even there? Am I still talking to myself? I don't know. But anyway, I hope that little HTML lesson was good. Please check us out on it says I'm in listen only mode. Okay. Check us out on thebloggingBunch.com. Join our Facebook group. Just look for The Blogging Bunch. We also have a support group where we do weekly shares, and we can help you build your blog. Anyway, have a great day, and we'll see you soon.